The name by which we refer to the European Union, the supranational reality of which we are part, has very ancient origins. It dates back to ancient Greece, a story which became a legend, which has as its protagonist a young princess just called Europe. Thus, the king of the gods saw her, fell in love and kidnapped her. The two fell in love and as a gift of love, thus named the island where they had landed Europe. Maybe it really was born that way, or maybe not. But still today she seems to roam this beloved land. She walks through it, observes it, but also tries to understand it. A land made up of different peoples, but who have finally begun to talk to each other, work together, merge. With an almost maternal love, she watches over it, despite some worries, crises, wars. With the aim of making everyone like her feel in their soul and spirit, Europe. In this Europe, the stones bear witness to a past that has not been lost in the dust of the centuries. Here, the stones speak and tell us of many men who fought for freedom and for freedom sacrificed their lives. But there are also stories of women and mothers who faced the many difficulties with the spirit of giving Europe democracy and freedom. The birth of the European institutions also brings with its legacies, and on the basis of this foundation, in 1999, ALDA, the European Association for Local Democracy, was established on the initiative of the Council of Europe to coordinate and support the network of the local democracy agencies, the LDAs plus, locally registered associations that act as the promoters of good governance and local self-government, with which ALDA collaborates in many activities. A change, therefore, that starts from the bottom, working closely with local communities so that citizens become protagonists and become active to improve their own territory. But ALDA's roots go back a few years to Subotica in Serbia, where in fact the first local democracy agency was founded in 1993. Its main programs focused on capacity building, awareness raising, and advocacy for three main targets: politicians and decision makers at local level, civil society organizations, youth and women's groups in particular, educating on democratic citizenship, promoting intercultural dialogue, regional cooperation, and building cross-sectoral partnership for sustainable local development are the main types of activities, including networking at the regional and European level. The Balkans have been ALDA's immediate focus, particularly at the end of the conflicts in the 90s. Which involved several territories belonging to the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, a decade after Tito's death, between 1991 and 2001, causing its dissolution. The economic and cultural motivations, the interests and personal ambition of the political leaders involved, and the contrast between different ethnic groups and religions, Catholic, Orthodox, and Muslim, between the population of the urban areas and the people of the rural and mountainous areas, were all influential. Everything was also framed in the broader context of the redefinition of borders after the end of the division of Europe into two blocks. ALDA is an association registered in France, but mainly European in nature, with members in more than 45 countries, dedicated to the promotion of good governance and citizen participation at local level in the European Union, its neighborhood and beyond. It's a key actor in the field of local democracy, active citizenship and cooperation between local authorities and civil society in Europe, its neighborhood and worldwide. Acting mainly through participatory methods and decentralized cooperation, convinced that in these challenging times, local democracy will save democracy. As a central element, ALDA supports citizens and citizens groups in their initiatives to improve the local environment, building bridges with local authorities in order to strive for real change.
Pa želim reći da je izuzetno zadovoljstvo raditi svih ove godine s ALDom. ALDA je jedna izuzetna organizacija, ja bih rekao jedinstvena. Zašto jedinstvena? Jer tu zajedno rade i nevladine udruge, znači organizacije civilnog društva, zatim lokalne samouprave, gradovi, općine. Tu zajedno rade i regije i tu radi i međunarodna razina vlasti i međunarodni NGO-i. Koji je naš cilj? Naš cilj je, znači kao što samo ime govori, lokalna demokracija. Mi u stvari pokušavamo tamo gdje treba donijeti nekakve projekte. Projekata smo puno napravili, 500 projekata u svih ovih godina, mislim da je to jedan odličan rezultat. Mislim da u budućnosti također možemo, na temelju ovog što smo do sad napravili, također možemo računati da će nam budućnost biti dobra. Radimo 40 zemalja svijeta, radimo u nekoliko ofisa, imamo ured u Briselu, imamo ured u Vičenci, imamo ured u Strasburu, imamo ured u Makedoniji, Moldaviji i u Tunisu. Znači sve to pokazuje uz onih 15 agencija lokalne demokracije, pokazujemo da je ALDA jedna ozbiljna organizacija, organizacija koja zna što hoće, organizacija koja ima preko 50 zaposlenih i u sve ove projekte, znači mi smo na neki način samo održivi, mi se sami financiramo. Znači ALDA uz sve ono što je sad napravljeno, mislim da i u budućnosti može računati na dobre rezultate.
ALDA is a membership-based organization with more than 350 members, including local authorities, associations of local authorities, and civil society organizations from more than 45 countries in the enlarged Europe. These add to the 16 local democracy agencies. It is financed through membership fees as well as project funding from the European Commission, the Council of Europe, and other public and private donors. It operates throughout the enlarged Europe, thanks to its staff of almost 60 people working in 6 offices in Strasbourg, Brussels, Vicenza, Skopje, Chisinau, and Tunis. An established association with a growing scope to be global at a local level. ALDA is led by a governing board elected every 4 years, composed of representatives of its members and committed to the implementation of the mission. ALDA is mainly active in the territories of the European Union, the Balkans, the Eastern Partnership, and the Mediterranean area. Thanks to its strategic plan, it is going global and implementing its programs all over the world. 2022 and 2023 have been sadly marked by the Russian aggression against Ukraine. And ALDA is involved with a very strong support to our local democracy agencies.
My role in ALDA over a number of years has been to act as the treasurer, but also in a wider role to work with the governing board of ALDA to try and promote ALDA's activities. We have an excellent team of staff, but I think it is important that we also have a form of accountability to our membership, and I obviously represent part of that membership on the governing board and the bureau of ALDA. As treasurer, it's clearly important that we have an organisation which is financially viable, and sometimes there are challenges in terms of the way the funding comes through from our supporters, such as the European Union and some of the foundations. You have to ensure that you've got the outputs and the outcomes for your projects that they want and that they pay for. So it's really important that we keep an eye on that. But beyond that, the most exciting thing about working with ALDA is the way that it has changed over the years. It's developed, it's become a much more mature organisation, and it now works in a much wider range of countries, promoting civil society, promoting local democracy, things that are absolutely at the core of my beliefs. I came into ALDA as a leader of a city council, of an administration, and as a partner to the LDA in Subotica in Serbia. I was very proud of that work, but clearly ALDA has moved on significantly since then. It's got a much broader field of activities, and I am absolutely pleased to see that progress being made with a great team of staff who I think are working incredibly well in terms of promoting those core things for civil society, for local democracy, and for involvement and inclusion of the citizens that we're working with.
Literally billions of people in the world
is a
are
key
actually
player in
threatened
policy
by being
making and
forced to leave
strategy
their homes.
making towards national, European and international decision making bodies. Through its projects, publication and recommendation that implement its mission and political vision, it brings an added value to the cause of local governance and citizen involvement. It is at the forefront for a stronger and deeper Europe, for inclusive and sustainable communities.
For example, I was never really into environmental activism. I knew what climate change was, but I wasn't so passionate about the topic. I didn't really take the steps that are needed in order to step up against this crisis. But now I feel much more into the whole topic.
In 2017, ALDA launched ALDA Plus, the ALDA own benefit company dedicated to the provision of training, ad hoc consultancies and specialized services in all fields in which ALDA operates. In fact, ALDA Plus represents the capitalization of ALDA's own experience in the field of local democracy, participatory processes and project cycle management.
Working for ALDA is a privilege. It's a privilege for several reasons. We work with people, we work with community, and we work with no borders. No borders between people, no borders between communities, no borders between countries. And this really makes sense. We can make a change with our work, through our actions and through our activities. And our work is based on values, very important values, especially nowadays. We are talking of peace, which is the core value of all our action, and also the value for which Europe was created many years ago. But we also foster participation, integration, solidarity, and this is worth working for these important values in Europe, in the neighborhoods, and in the world. So it really makes sense, and we are trying to develop actions aiming at promoting these values in Europe, in the neighborhood, and also globally in the recent years. So also opening our frontiers to other countries, such as Central Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, which might be important to invest on. Since 2000, we have developed more than 500 projects, tackling different important topics at the local level: migration, youth, local development, environment, following the major important objectives of the European Union in order to create shared communities, participative communities, and in order to help communities to find common solutions, engaging all the stakeholders living in the community: citizens, local authorities, civil society, and other actors working for the welfare and the benefit of the community. We started with projects, but we also switched to services. Services at the service of the communities. A few years ago, we opened ALDA Plus, which is a benefit corporation company owned by ALDA 100%, which is also important to support the mission of the Mother's organization. ALDA Plus provides services in the field of project cycle management, in the fields of training, in the fields of participatory issues, in order to contribute also through provision of consultancies, training, assistance to the development of the communities. So we are also, let's say, creating other tools and actions in order to foster our main objectives, which is to promote good governance, citizens' participation and peace in many communities in Europe, in the neighborhoods and in the world.
To promote good governance and citizen participation at the local level across Europe and beyond, ALDA conducts a wide range of actions that support local, national and international actors in achieving their goals in the fields of European integration, decentralization, human rights, social inclusion, sustainable development, civic initiatives and more. With ALDA, democracy becomes action at the local level made of solutions and responsibilities. It therefore represents a large network of citizens and local authorities fully committed to supporting local democracy and the strengthening of local communities through citizen participation in Europe and beyond.
My name is Paula Raužan and I'm a president of the local democracy agency CISAC here in Croatia. We work for 27 years. And in that time we did plenty of things that we are proud of. But now I can say that what we really impact and what we find very important is to find as many tools there are to involve citizens in processes of how to sit together and to form the new ways and new opportunities for all of us. We believe that working in a family like ALDA is important because it gives you opportunity to meet your peers, so not just in EU but also worldwide, and that is very important, especially in these times when today every day is a challenge. So ALDA, congratulations for 30 years.
So we actually strongly believe that the local democracy is a core of building democracy in general. So this is our main mission, to build up local democracy at the local level, to be a main connection between citizens and the local government, because this is the place actually where we live our lives. This is the place where we have our problems, and this is the place where we are trying to solve our problems. And if we actually manage to create democracy at the local level, this will be the only good base to create democracy at a higher level. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, we are facing a lot of problems in that area, but we really believe that we can succeed, especially doing small projects in the small local communities, and this is what local democracy agencies in Bosnia and Herzegovina are doing. Local democracy agency Mostar is here for almost 19 years, implementing more hundreds of projects and a lot of beneficiaries and a lot of very useful activities. And even today we are starting to implement 21 projects all over the Bosnia and Herzegovina, implementing small activities in the small local communities with small projects, but making a big change in a local environment and the local society in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And I deeply believe that all those improvements in democracy at the local level would be a good and solid base for the building democracy in Bosnia and Herzegovina in general.
Sono Slađan Ilić, delegato di Agenzia della Democrazia Locale a Zavidovici in Bosnia e Herzegovina. ADL Zavidovici esiste dal 1997, quando è stata ufficialmente inaugurata, ma cooperazione internazionale che questo gruppo fa con Zavidovici inizia già dal 1993, allora anche siamo già 30 anni di cooperazione tra Zavidovici, soprattutto Italia, ma anche altre zone europee. Siamo una delle prime ADL nate in Bosnia e Herzegovina. In tutto questo tempo continuiamo di mantenere cooperazione e partenariato con le zone in Italia, soprattutto Alba, Brescia e Cremona, anche altre zone come Torino, Forlì, ma non solo Italia, anche altri paesi europei, grazie alla rete ALDA, tramite quale siamo riusciti a stabilire diversi progetti e contatti in Europa. ADL si è occupato di diverse cose durante la guerra, di aiuti umanitari, accoglienza di profughi sfolati in Italia, dopo la guerra aiuti umanitari, ricostruzione civica, ricostruzione della società civile e poi vari progetti di tutti i settori, economia, ambiente, risorse umane, scuola, scambi, cultura, sport, tutto che uno potrebbe immaginare. Tutto questo ha creato veri rapporti tra i nostri territori e tutti questi anni si è creata un'amicizia che continuerà, mi sembra, ancora molto in futuro.
Since 2020, ALDA has been taking its expertise in local democracy beyond the borders of Europe and the neighborhood, reaching out to other regions of the world in need of assistance and support in its field of expertise. Over many years of activity, with its members and partners, supported by the European institutions and various other donors. ALDA has impacted over 25 million citizens in the ALDA Europe and beyond.
As a matter of fact, after 30 years of activities, ALDA members, partners and local democracy agencies are more important and actual than ever. We saw how much during this crisis, both the pandemics, but also the economic crisis and the war in Ukraine made our local communities more important than ever. Local communities are resilient, they know how to support their citizens and give services, and they need to be empowered. So for us, the work is ahead of us. We want to become even stronger, have even more members, have more local democracy agencies. Our model proved to be reliable, resilient, as I said, and also powerful. So we think that in the future, our projects, our members can count even more on us. So it's like another journey for Europe, for the neighborhood, and we also have a project to enlarge our network and its instruments over the globe. We are starting today a very big project in Africa, where we also, with our instruments, we will be able to support youth inclusion, empowerment, and gender empowerment and inclusion in local democracy and local decision-making process. So we think that now we can definitely prove to be a solid organization, and that the European institution, both the Council of Europe and the European Union, can rely on us for projects, and so are our members. So it's 30 years, but it's also the start of a new journey.
Gianfranco Martini was among the initiators of the concept of local democracy agencies and became the first president of ALDA when it was founded in 1999 until 2008. On 11 October 2012, his passing led the association to create an annual scholarship to honor his memory as a friend and important mentor. For his great ability to share and build the ambitious project of an ever more politically united Europe, and for his personal commitment in so many different political situations, carried out with the irony and unwavering optimism that have always distinguished him, Gianfranco Martini can be defined as the little father of Europe, who, despite being aware of the difficulties and inconsistencies of the current supranational system, never lost heart, always launching the goal of an accomplished European integration of peace and solidarity. Despite ALDA's positive experience as a place of hope and innovation, building the future, giving space to many realities, it is a tragic historical moment for Europe, from the Balkans to Ukraine, but also to the lack of trust in the institution Europe. ALDA and its entire community brings the strength of conviction that local democracy will save democracy itself. Change that starts from the bottom, working with the local community, with the citizen as protagonist. Good work, ALDA. Europe